welcome to July, and welcome to the first in our July Business Toolbox Edition. Our guest today is Ibim Semenitari, and she's still trying to get on. So we'll just keep working at it. Sometimes the network has glitches. Why did we choose to do the Business Toolbox Edition? We decided to bring together entrepreneurs, marketing coaches, legal and tax experts, and financial advisors, people who could help us um, think better, think more strategically, think more tactically as well when we have to, and get them together in July and help our entrepreneurs make better decisions about their businesses. Well, while we're waiting for her to come, she's going to come in any minute. I know she's someone who doesn't, she never says die, so she'll be always on. So I actually became friends with Ibim's husband, Henry, first. He was my sister's colleague at work. And when you hang out with your sister and she's hanging out with her colleagues, you become friends. You become friends that way. But after a while, since we were more or less in the same kind of business, in the media milieu, I kind of kept an eye on what she was doing. Number one, she was someone from my part of the neck of the woods, so to speak. I didn't know I was going to end up in River State, but hey, that's how God works. And I kept track of what she was doing as a cub reporter, etc. And then she won the CNN award for investigative journalism, and wow, that was a big deal. That is still a big deal. And one day, I can't remember where we were. I really can't remember where we were, but we were at the airport somewhere out of this country. And I saw her, and I went to her and I hugged her and I said, "Sis, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you." And that's how our sisterhood began. Let me try and see if I can get her back on. So Ibim is, she's a woman of very many parts. Ibim, I'm gossiping you in your upstairs. You're very present. Stop it.
Yes.
She's a
Can you
woman
hear
of
me?
very, very many parts. Perfectly. Let me just keep talking about her. She's married to my friend Henry, who is also a traditional ruler in Okrika. She'll tell us more. She's a mother to 4 incredible children, and then mother to hundreds of other children that she's collected along the way of life, or who have collected her. That's the way it rolls with Ibim. She's an amazing friend. She's also a very passionate woman. She's someone who I find out she holds on to things. She really holds on to. She's tenacious. She's consistent. She's articulate. She's intelligent. She's everything I want my younger sister to be, and my older sister is on this chat as well. So I hope I am everything that you wanted me to be as well. And if you want to have a fight, I can't think of a better person to have on your side than Ibim. Ibim knows how to spit bullets, and she knows how to spin silk with her words. She's incredible that way. And she's worked and continues to work in both the private and public sectors. She's also got a footprint in academia and in farming, in agriculture. How does she do it all? I don't know. She's also a woman of faith, and she does not hide that. So today, as we start off our July Business Toolbox Edition, we are talking to Ibim Semenitari about the business of business, and against the backdrop of dominate and replenish. Ibim, can you please come online? Yes. There you are. So I have said everything about you behind your back. And I said, this is one thing I want you to say. I said, you're an amazing friend, and you're a fantastic person to have on your side in a fight, because you can spit bullets or you can spin silk with your words. That is what I think. Oh, thank you, Isabi. I made an effort. I put on more makeup today. And as you can see, your Rotary Presido Enough said. You guys can see. You can see it. That's all I can say. You can see her. That's all I can say. Ibim, welcome. Welcome.
Thank you,
I spoke
Julia.
about you in your absence. I told them about how you and I met. I can't remember which airport it was, but it wasn't in this country. And we were kind of crossing each other, and you had just won the it might have been South Africa, really. You had just won the CNN Investigative Reporter Awards, and I saw you. I said that's a babe because I've been keeping an eye on you. You know, kind of booking down who is that girl? Who's that girl? I want to know that girl. And I just saw you, and I just came and I just said, "I'm so proud of you." And I gave you a big hug, and then that's how our love started. You know, I don't know if you remember, but I remember very, very well. You know, yes. So
I
we're
do
talking about
remember.
the business. You do remember? Okay. We're talking about the business of business with you, and we're talking against the backdrop of dominate and replenish. I know you're a girl who knows your Bible, and that's the mandate that's given to us by God in Genesis 1:28. That is the summary of the mandate. So, welcome, Ibim. And I need to get right off the blocks by asking you, addressing what people would call the elephant in the room. People have described you to me as a child of privilege, someone who didn't really have to work very hard to get anything done. I mean, your dad, your mom, your pedigree, your background, and you hit the limelight at 4 years old, and you've never left the limelight since then. Like, tell me, what were you doing in the limelight at 4 years old anyway?
Well, first is that I say that sometimes we want to make people apologize that their parents worked hard or that their grandparents worked hard, and it's something we need to stop, because many people who do that want their own children to have comfort. So the
Absolutely.
first thing I always say is that I do not apologize that I have pedigree, because it wasn't pedigree that was false or that was wrongly acquired. My grandfather worked very hard as a merchant to trade. My great-grandmother on my mother's side worked very hard to be a woman of means. She was the first woman to build a block house in Opobo. And that was
Hello.
after she had to work out of a marriage that was abusive. My great-grandmother, she took part in the Aba Women's Riot when they were taxing women. Her name is Oruba. She was that kind of woman that didn't need a surname, such that when you said Oruba in Opobo, they knew who it was. She worked hard for it. And I always say that a couple of days ago, I was looking through my grandmother's stuff because she left it in my charge. And I saw court summons of my great-grandmother summoning a man who had wrongly taken a young girl into his home without her consent. And she took the man to court before the colonial court. That's my foundation. And I stand on the shoulders of these women. And I say that not because I'm trying to be proud, but to say that there's none of my forebears who didn't work hard. So the virtue of hard work was instilled in me as a little kid. Yes, truly at age 4, 5, I was on TV. And I guess that's what part of what gave me, my parents taught me to have an opinion, to have a view, and to air that view.
Yeah.
So as young as age 5, if I didn't think something was wrong with a policy or what government did, I was fired, remember. I was allowed to say it. So we got on radio and on TV, Young Brains with Dolly Esindu, and we had this panel. And I was a regular on the panel. And we would take matters, Auntie Dolly would talk about things that affected us, government policy that affected us, and we're allowed to speak. So we aired our views. Now, I had a father who wasn't going to ask anybody a favor on your behalf. I'll tell you my story.
I have one of those. I have one of those.
When I was graduating, I said to my dad, please, I'd like to serve in Lagos because, I want to do journalism, and Lagos is the place. There, so wherever they send you to for youth service, go there. I'm not calling anybody. He was a permanent secretary. He could have called. He didn't. The day I got my letter, so I went. The only next person I could ask was God. So I went on my knees. I said, God, you know that I have to go to this Lagos. And you know that my father is not about picking up calling anybody. So please, I want to go to Lagos. So he listened. When they announced posting letters, I was posted to Lagos. I was over the moon.
I can imagine.
I got into Lagos and I was at camp in Ibadan. And then I said to my dad, I really want to work. That time, Patutomi was, involved with it, and he'd been writing in Vanguard. And he was like a protege of my dad. So I said, can you talk to Pat? He said, I'm not calling anybody.
No, hold on.
So
did your dad and my dad go to the same school? Were they children of the same parents?
They probably were. So I said, I'm not calling anybody. So I took permission and I left camp because I really wanted. I said, if I'm going to do journalism, I want to either start in the Guardian, but I wanted a strong footing. So I took permission from camp and we went to Volkswagen. At that time, I had no clue of Lagos on my own. So I found my way to Vaughan, which was on your way to Badagry.
Yeah.
And then I went to Peter and I said, my name is Ibim Toby, and this is what I'd like. I'd like to serve, with Vanguard. He said, well, that's likely to be tough. This was fact. And I now said to myself, okay, now I agree that you're truly a protege of my dad. He said, well, I'm not going to call anyone. I'd like to be tough. But if you want to serve in any of those places, I think you should go there and ask them if they need a youth cover. So that was fact to me. So I leave Volkswagen of Nigeria and I go back to camp and I say, what am I going to do? So I get up and I go to the youth camp. I said, okay. The Danagbe says the Daily Kiwas, the Rekus, they start from Daily Times. And at this time, Daily Times are still flourishing again, other Yemi. Yeah. So off I went to Daily Times and I got into Daily Times. And I asked to see general manager. Onyema Ugochukwu was GM at the time. And this is me, a youth corper, without any notice. And so Onyema, God bless him, opened his doors and said, yes, young lady, how can I help? I said, sir, I want to serve at the Daily Times of Nigeria. He said, we don't give any money to corpers. I said, I don't want your money. I want the experience. That I'm paid my salary as a corper. He said, will that be enough for you? I said, yes, it will be. Just give me a chance to serve here. Before then, I had gone to see Medlin Tado, who was starting Poise magazine then.
Yeah.
And again, she didn't know me at the time. And she said, yeah, I'm happy to take you in Poise, but you have to first come in to Daily Times. So what if they give, sure, I'll be glad to have you here, no problem. So I go back to Onyoma now called Sonala Olume said then was chair of editorial board. So he says, Eso, this young lady says she wants to talk with us. Interview her and see if she has anything in her head.
Oh, yeah.
So Eso takes me into the editorial conference room and he's sitting. I think Alibi was also there at the time. And Eso says, so you want to come to data? I say, okay. We were starting a new women's, if you were to be part of a women's magazine, what kind of stories would you have in the place? I said, Jay, God, thank you. So I ranted off. Now, remember that this was because on campus, myself and some friends of mine, all of them ended up in the media, and now one is a professor in the US. But myself, Benjamin Okovoriole, Okemweze, Eric Osaki, and some others had got together to start what we called Campus Watch. At that time, when moving from the usual campus magazines being gossip magazines, we wanted to do a news magazine stitched. And what were we looking at? We're looking at News Watch and we're patterning it after News Watch. So we had started Campus Watch. And we had come to Lagos weekends we'll run out, come and try and see the guys at Newswatch to say, listen, we want you to mentor us. So anyway, this is how I got into the media. And then I get in, Ethel finishes with me and then says to Onyema, oh, she's got a good head on her shoulders, we can take her in. So this is when I now go through Onyema, which says, by the way, you said you're who? I said, Ibim Toby. Toby, do you know GPG Toby? I said, he's my dad. Oh, he taught me in Central Coast. Wow, wonderful. So I now come back and I say to my dad, the guy who interviewed me, he says you were his teacher. His name is Onyema Ogochukwu. And he said, to say, my father then, at that is when my father decides, I have to write him a thank you.
For what you did.
Yeah. So he's now willing to do this thank you to this guy, but he's not willing to beg him
to beg him.
But it was good for me because my dad and my mom insisted you had to earn your shirt.
Yeah.
They weren't about going begging anybody. I think it was the fact that they had confidence that they had raised you right.
Yeah.
And that if they had raised you right, you should give yourself a leg up. Again, and I take this because the elephant in the room. People thought, she became commissioner because her father was deputy governor and he spoke to somebody. Absolutely zero, nothing like that. First is that my father knew that I had an aversion to government. And after his experience in government, I wasn't enamored or interested in government.
Yeah.
I was at my desk. I had started Business Eye magazine and we were under 3 years old. And I was at my desk when I received a call from the former governor, Chibike Amechi. And he says, my name is Chibike Amechi. Can you see me tomorrow at 11? I said, oh, sure, Your Excellency. Now, why did I say sure? I had sent in a proposal. At this time, when we said Business Eye, part of what we were doing was some monitoring and evaluation of states. And we had done some work for the Rivers State Ministry of Works. We had also sent in a proposal to say, listen, we want to do a midterm review of what you've done, and look at your your financial projections so that we can tell your story from the perspective of the number. We had sent a similar proposal to Kwara State, and we had done something for Kwara State. At the time they were doing this, their farmers who came in from Zimbabwe.
Okay. Yeah.
So when he said, yeah, see me, I assumed it had to do with my proposal.
Okay.
So off I went to Port Harcourt, armed with my recorder. If you see the first picture, I had my recorder, I had my the magazine, I had my proposal in case he had forgotten. I had everything so he could just say go and I would go. And I got to the gate of Government House and they were so nice and they opened the gate. So I said to myself, wow, is this how this guy is going to run government? That's wonderful. Oh, this is good. So I made a mental note. This is a good thing to say in the story. Then I get into Government House and I say, my name is Ibim Semenitari, the governor. And then the SSS people, he's just right at the back. And I said to myself, oh my goodness, these people are so open with receiving people. So I make another mental note. All this while in my head, this is demystification of government.
You're already writing your story.
I writing the headline. But I get in there, the governor is in a meeting with his commissioners, I think a training. So he steps out and he says, yes. And I go to think, oh, Your Excellency, thank you so much. And I'm bringing out my letter and my magazine. And then people are snapping all over the place. Chief Press Secretary Bless Wikina had ambushed me with cameramen. And I'm thinking, why are they taking pictures? I said, I just want to give him a letter. All this while, blissful ignorance. So he then says to me, would you accept to serve the state as Commissioner for Information? And I'm taking it back. I'm like, where is this coming from? I was not holding party card. I had not. So I said to him, Your Excellency, please, can you give me 2 weeks to think about it? He said, hold on, Papa, I want to announce it. I said, no, sir. Give me 2 weeks. I need to think. I need to speak to my husband. I need to speak to my father. And I need to think about this. This is what I want to do. So he says, okay, think about it. You have 2 weeks. This was in July. We were to take my daughter back to school in the US in August. So as I get into the car, I call my husband. I say, honey, this is what just happened. He said, okay, have you answered? Did you say no? I said, no, I haven't said no. Because my husband knew that the likely answer on the spot.
Was no.
I said no. He said good. He said, please don't say anything until we talk. I said, okay. So I drive straight to my dad's home and I say, listen, this is what just happened. My father said, wow, what did you say? I said, I asked to think about it. He said, okay. Then my father says to me, you're known in your profession. You're known outside Port Harcourt. You've done everything you need to do career-wise. But isn't it time you gave back at home? Second thing, it says public office is always a good teacher. And then it says, and then you have been doing activism. Well, this is the time to put your money where your mouth is. 3 things he told me.
Your dad is tough, man. Hardcore.
So he said, I think you should take it. Go ahead and think about it. So I get back to Lagos. And I go to my 2 mentors. My father, Dan Agbese, and my boss, Musa Igebo. And I said to them, this is what has happened. So Musa laughed. I said, does this guy know you? I said, yeah. I said, well, I think you should make it clear what you can and cannot do when you speak to him so that he knows whether it is what he wants. I go to see Dan Agbese, and Dan Agbese says to me, I think it's time some of us got into government and made a difference. But I think you should clearly know what your deliverables are and discuss with your principal about what his expectations are and what your understanding is of your job. Anyway, cut a long story short, that's how the commissioner thing happened. Further details are, but
when I write your memoirs, when I write your memoirs.
So, this leg up business, I don't know. I just know that I was taught to work hard and to earn my share. And I'm proud that I was taught that.
Yeah. I mean, to tell a governor, I mean, you're offered this public service job, very pivotal as well. And you say, give me two weeks. So I think you took more than 2 weeks. Because you took your daughter back to school. Ibim, I know you took your daughter back to school. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, my children are priority. Everybody who knows me knows that. Yeah. Nothing comes before them. And because I think that it's a privilege to be a mother or a father. It's a privilege. God gives you a privilege to join him in raising and nurturing people. Yeah. You don't joke with that. You don't joke with that. So,
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. What else would I like to ask you? I have tons of questions, but I'd like to ask you something that, based on something that somebody made, a comment that somebody made when we started promoting this conversation. And they said, oh, she hasn't worked for a while and she would like us to give her money. Between you and me, we give her money. And maybe she knows something about my bank account that I don't know, you know. But she'd like to give us money. So I'd like to take it to one question that I had actually prepared. Like, in business, what do you think is the most important thing? Some people say it's your connections, it's your idea, it's the money, it's the network you have, persistence. Let's trouble that a bit, because I do have the opportunity to talk with a lot of young people, both in Lagos, in Calabar, and here. And a lot of them say, generally, if I had the money, I would do this. But I started a business with practically no money. We started a business with no money, right? And it built up to be one of the biggest. And then here I am starting again with practically no money. So let's trouble that a bit. You know, people say, give me money. So what do you need? Is it the idea, the business idea, to have a good business concept? Is this the business plan? Because people kind of put that as, oh, I don't have a business plan. I don't have connections. Nobody knows me. I'm the child of a poor person. You people can talk well because many people think I went to school abroad. I went to school at University of Calabar, Biku. I did my master's abroad, but I am fully Calabar. I'm now fully Abonema. You understand? So what do people need to be successful? Because this is a business toolbox edition, and people need to know what to do so we can start changing some mindsets.
Okay, so I'll start with when I started business. I started my business at the University of Benin. And how did I start? I said, well, it's true. My father was a perm sec, my mother's school principal, one of the biggest. But girl needs a bit of her own money to do stuff. And at this time, I was doing from village outreach to Easter retreat, and I didn't want somebody to tell me you can't go for the village outreach because. So I needed to have some more money on the side. So what would I do? My friends would like to bake cakes for their boyfriend. Me, I know how to bake. I said, sister, let me bake the cake for you. Answer the name of the baker. I'm not dragging. So you will give me the money for the ingredients. I had 0 copy. You give me the money for the ingredients. I had a, whose cooker and oven I could use. I will go there, bake your cake, return the cake to my room, ice it in my room. All I invested in was an icing kit, which was at that time, I bought the cheaper end one, the plastic bag, which was more difficult to use. But then I didn't have the money for the pump. So I would finish icing, deliver to you, and then you would nicely present it as your love cake to your boyfriend made by yourself. Excuse me. So you would pay me for my services. You will be happy. I will be happy. Your boyfriend will be happy. Everybody's happy. Okay? So that's how I started. I first had the idea that it was possible. Then there was another one I remember. A friend of mine, he would go to New Benin market. He would send us his girl, actually his fiancé. Go to New Benin market, buy meat, come back, wash the meat. Because there were lots of girls who didn't want to go to New Benin market and guys who didn't have the energy. We had energy. So we would go, we buy the meat, we clean off all the fats, we put it inside a nice nylon bag, put it in the fridge and say, hey, Emilio meat, straight into the pot.
You branded it.
So that became our tagline, Emilio meat, straight into the pot. But John Emilio, and so small something was coming in. What am I saying? And this is in school. Then when I wanted to start business, I didn't have a ton of money. I remember that after I started, my boss said to me, you this girl, you have mind though. What 4 men, the 4 owners of Newswatch, of TEL, are struggling to do, you by yourself, small girl like you. No general, no professor, no big money. And I started planning it a year and a half in advance. When the idea of doing a business magazine came to me, I wrote the crude style first. And I was putting money, I was saving in the cooperative at work. And when it was time, I went to a small, at that time they were small, they were not too big. But they were able to help me work, which came out from my own crude business plan I had done. Don't forget, I had been in the media, I had started magazines, so I knew a few of the basics. I knew what the costs were, so I could put some things down. I had learned under the hand of the very best in the business. So there was a place for apprenticeship.
You paid your dues. Learned. Yeah.
Right. So, but after I wrote this business plan, and then I mentioned to my boss, again, that's the other thing. I told my people that, okay, my plan is that when I do 10 years in jail, I will be. And this is what I'm planning to do. And then my guys, initially when I was saying to them, let's have another product, a business product. They said, no, we don't want, we are known as a political magazine. So they wanted to start another magazine that would have been political. First the crime one, then the guy who was to edit the crime one left. the organization. Then they talked of a business, and then the guy who was to do it was appointed as chief press secretary somewhere. So they said, okay, let's fall back on this Ibim's business idea. And they said to me, let's see your plan. Now, this is what I did. And that's what many of us fail to do. This is my plan. I can't show it to my guys. They will steal it. No. It was an opportunity to test it and see if it will work. So I carried my plan lock, stock, and barrel and said, this is what I think. Of course, my guys fine-tuned it. And that's how we started Broad Street Journal. It became my learning curve before starting mine.
Okay.
So that when I started business, I learned from those errors. But back to my start. Every business starts at the idea of concept. Now, after you've had a concept, you've got to sit and think about the concept. Even the Bible says it. Anybody who wants to build a house, you first do what? Count the costs.
Count the costs, yeah.
Basic. So you must do the basic cost counting. Basic cost account. How much do I need? For how long do I need?
It.
When can this thing start giving me money? You've got to do all that. So you have to think it, dream it, sleep it, live it, eat it, own it. Then you think about the cost. Then you ask yourself, how much may I get? With which I will start small. Friends and family can help. That's how I started. I started small. And then friends and family chipped in. And then I was determined. I didn't start off by buying myself a big car. The first thing I bought for business,
You didn't buy an SUV?
Nike. First thing I bought was a brand new car for the marketing department and a brand new car for those who will carry the magazine. First things first. No fancy. No fancy. Because it is clear when you're starting a business. And now this is me. My children are also entrepreneurial in nature. My daughter, one of my daughters, started taking pictures with a borrowed camera.
She takes great photographs. I've seen her photographs.
She will rent the camera. She will borrow the camera. She will take the pictures. When she gets paid, she will pay for the rental cost. Another of my kids does catering. Actually, two. Their friends in school would say, we're having a party, we want a tray of jollof rice. Can you cook it? Yes, I can cook it. Buy the grocery and pay me so much. So their only cost is the gas or the electricity. But don't forget, they've taken the money for labor. So part of that goes into the electricity.
Going to the electricity, yeah.
Another daughter of mine, along with her friend, started an event management company. And what do? They provide authentic, they call it authentic event planning, which means they do planning for African and people of African and Asian descent, who can't get the local flavor to their events. This is what they're doing. Started in the realm of ideas.
Yeah.
So basically, when my mother started her school, she started with one child and an L-shaped block. Little drops of water.
Ibim, what you're saying, I understand because I know and I've walked down that path. But the media, of which both of us are part, tends to glamorize people who are blown, coming out of nowhere and practically nowhere. I'm sure it's not nowhere, they come out of somewhere, but tracing where you've come from. You've had, you say you stand on the shoulders of strong women, but there are also people who told you, balance yourself well. I'm not just going to hold you. You better balance yourself well and understand yourself. So I think, and I can see that you're doing the same thing with your children. Apart from whatever school fees and things that you're sending to them, they are also entrepreneurial. So these are conversations we have to keep having with our children and with young people, to say it's not one day. It's not one day. You didn't start today. I didn't start today. You understand? Absolutely. But I can start with an idea and I can start in a hole in a wall. And I know that that's
And
not
I
my
can fail.
destination. Yes, I can
And
fail.
I can fail.
Yes.
I have failed. I have failed many times. I fail, I pick myself up, and I keep going. Because you will fail. You will make false starts.
Absolutely.
My daughter has failed and started again. We must begin to teach young people that you will make false starts. You will make mistakes. You will flunk. You will fail. You will lose every investment.
Absolutely. You lose your shirt.
Again.
Girl, you lose your shirt. There's a time when we started that ad agency. There's a time we really didn't know where the next money was going to come from. We had no idea. We couldn't pay ourselves. We couldn't do anything. Many of the people who are our clients had gone into, oh my goodness, it was a bad time for the financial services. And since they were the bulk of the clients in our baskets at that time, as they went down, we went down with them.
Absolutely.
You understand? Yeah. You understand? So I'm laughing about it now. It wasn't funny at all. But grit is very important. I mean, people are about grit, but grit is just that thing that once you've been beaten down, whacked down, you just get up again and say, okay, let's go. I know better now. Let's go. So talk us through I said the business, I believe the business of business is to dominate, take the territory, take charge, and then replenish. And as far as I'm concerned, you are doing that on many fronts. You've worked in the media and entertainment, education, family, which other one? Yeah, and religion as well, because I think I attended something that you did. They did you in Mother of Church or something. I can't remember. You know, agriculture falls into family, I guess so. You understand? So, how have you been able to straddle all of these mountains? How? And how are you replenishing?
You know, sometimes
yeah, please go on.
So sometimes I ask myself that the kids, let me start with the children, say, Mommy, another initiative again. You know, that's how they go. And they're like, have you thought about this? Mommy, we're worried. You're getting old. I say, we should stop it. Who is old? You know, but I guess that my mom actually started her schools in her 50s. In her 50s, and when she built the first one.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
My mom is 79 this year. She built the first one 20 years ago. So she was, do the math. Now, and that's the point, that I guess it's a gift sometimes to be able to have your eyes on more. It's not everybody that has that gift. Some people need to do one at a time.
Yeah.
Some people can do more than one, but even when you do more than one, you really won't be efficient if you try to do the three in the same space. You've got to create the time for each one. For instance, now I'm just starting the farm. I'm starting the farm at a time when schools are having an easy time. So I can spend a long time in the farm before I go to school. And I'm trying to build a structure so that the farm is managed. Thank God for technology now. So you can see what's going on the farm, even if you're in the United States. All you need to do is press a button and you're seeing your camera.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So the idea really is to efficiently and effectively think it through and create a system, a functional system. And the system that works for Julia would not work for Ibim.
Absolutely.
So Julia has to know what system works for her. Is she able to do two things at once? Or does she need to count one, take a breather, count two, take a breather? It doesn't make her, it just means that her efficiency levels may even be higher. May even be higher because she's taking her time to finish one before she goes to two. But for me, all I have been able to do is create systems and structure, and to know when I can't do it all. For instance, recently I said to myself, Ibim, you really do need it. After listening to you, I said to myself, Ibim, you truly need somebody to sit with you and see this thing from another eye. And so I signed up with someone to coach me, to see it through another eye. Because it's important that you tell yourself, there's always the need to have another eye. I think that's what the Bible really talks about when it says iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you go blunt. If iron stays by itself and is never sharpened, it will go blunt. You buy a knife in your house. The first thing you do when you buy a new knife, you don't use it like that. If you use it like that, it's go blunt, right? Our local
You
knife.
need to.
So you buy a knife and you sharpen it.
Yeah.
When you've used it for some time, it starts to dull. You need to sharpen it again. And it's pretty much the same way with us. We need somebody to sharpen our vision every now and again. You're taking a picture. When you're using a camera, you look through the lens, you get that vision right. I'm sure you wonder, why is it that the next time the man is taking this, it's the same man, same camera, why is he refocusing the lens? Because the lens sometimes gets out of alignment.
You have to
and so we need to
recalibrate.
sharpen that focus.
Yeah.
And that's some of the things we need to learn in business. When people talk about strategy sessions, that's really what they are.
Yeah.
When companies have strategy sessions, when businesses say, oh, we're having a retreat, the whole idea is to sharpen the lens. So even when you're a one-man business, you need to also sharpen that lens.
You need someone who will help you.
Of a friend. Yeah. So.
Absolutely. So we are still in the business of world domination. You're not stopping. But what happened to business I? Because that side of your that's what brought you to national and international prominence. And right now it seems to be what is it? Is it in incubation? So, is it on recess? Is it what's happening?
So with business I, now if there's one regret I have about serving in government, it's business I. Why? Because business I is my passion fruit. It's born out of my dreams, my passion, and it was just 2 years plus when I had to leave. By the time we were 2 years, and believe it or not, we started business I with our eye on the future. We knew that very soon would be strongly digital. We had all those plans. If you look at my business plan, you'll be amazed. We had planned to go into radio, TV, digital, digital content. We had structured it. That was the plan. And being in government sometimes derails your plan. Because that's one thing that you can't manage two things at once. First is that for a media organization, you cannot be as involved if you want that organization to have authenticity. If you want it to own itself, if you want it to be considered a credible medium, and you're in government, you have to back up.
You have to step away. You have to step away.
You have to. So when I left government, first at the end of my first 2 years, 2011, as soon as the governor dissolved cabinet, I was packing my bag, preparing to go back to my desk, because I didn't know if you would take that. I didn't even, that it wasn't on my, you know how your thought realm doesn't situate you in, oh, I'm coming back. So me, I had gone to go and prepare my office. I was preparing to go back. What left me in Port Harcourt was doing the Garden City Games because I was chair of publicity.
Okay.
In the middle of that, I heard that my name has gone to assembly. Unlike the first time when I was asked, this time my boss didn't even ask, just sent my. He didn't ask my opinion. So I stayed back. At the end of 2015, I also, of course, cleared my office. If you ask them at the Ministry of Information, my handover note was ready. On the day the governor said cabinet is hereby dissolved, I moved from ESCO chambers to my seat. I had cleared every bit of my personal property from the ministry. I got to my seat, put in the last event that happened that day, signed my handover note, signed the inventory, invited the permanent secretary, and handed over the inventory and asked him, please check and confirm that everything is complete. And also my, what is it called? My, what do they call it now? Plate number.
Okay.
01, my return. Now, and of course, again, said to myself, okay, been there, done that, start planning your life. I had sat down with my people, business side, had asked for a new plan. Guys, what are we doing and all of that. But that period, we had a bit of turbulence, and I didn't think it right to leave before working with my boss to ensure the ministerial nomination and all of that. And the day he was cleared by the Senate, I sent him a text and said, thank you so much, sir, for the privilege of having served River State and yourself. Now I can sing the Nong Dimitis.
Nong Dimitis.
That was my text. And he said to me, who told you so?
Exactly. And the beat goes on.
So anyway, we still had court cases and stuff. So I felt an obligation to ensure that things had smoothened out before I left. And I recall I was in Aponima when I got a call from my boss at the time, the Honorable Minister. He said to me, Ibim, I need you in Abuja now. Like, I didn't have a dress. I moved from Aponima to the airport to Abuja. And I said, sir, what happened? What's wrong? Again, I panicked. What is the problem? And God, and he said, well, I've just been notified by the president. You will be announced as acting MD. He said, anyway, I think you should go and see the SGF. I believe your letter is ready. That was how I got there. There was letter. I was shocked because, so I got the letter. As I got the letter, I went back. I said, sir, this is the letter. I said, good. Go and do your best. And that was it. Of course, it was in acting capacity because the act made it clear that if somebody from a particular state left, that person, the next person who should be substantive should come from that area. That was the act. But yes, so that was the privilege again to serve. And one of the things, my passion, anybody who knows me will know that I have a passion for the Niger Delta region. Not just because I come from here, but I believe that God places you in time and space for a reason.
Absolutely.
So I have a passion for the region. I feel a commitment to the region. As a young teenage girl, I did agitations for the region. As a reporter, I made it a front burner issue every time, all the time. Anybody who knows me in all of my reporting life would tell you that. So, I understand the beginnings of the struggle. So it was a good space to try and see if some of the things I had mouthed was possible. And so I did that. But all of this background is to say, business I didn't get my attention. And so my business suffered. My business took a hit. When I went back in 2016, I tried to see if we could bring it back up. The media environment had changed.
Absolutely.
And had changed drastically. Magazines were struggling. Tell magazine, which was the best in the market at the time, was barely able to come out monthly. The news was having the same challenge. Everybody was unable to pay salaries. The print media was in trouble. That's no time to come in if you don't have a ton of money.
Absolutely.
But I tried to get back into the space. We printed a few editions. We realized that we're just spending money printing. Advertising had gone digital. They were counting hits now. They were no longer concerned with circulation figures. And so it was clear I had to rethink the business model. Part of what we had planned for Business I was to be able to do documentaries, but also we were to be able to publish books. So we had to begin to think again. Now, also recall that we were in the investigative journalism space, which is not the
Absolutely.
most favorite space of anybody. We had lost advertising big time from people who were friends and big. And so I had to either rethink the model. Was I ready to become in a feature, nice feature magazine that didn't ruffle any feathers? Seeing that that is not my kind of journalism, I told myself, don't try. Because when you ape who you are not, you will fail. So don't try. You don't have a clue what is the difference between an LV and a Gucci. How do you now want to go and do?
I know that.
How do you now want to go and be doing glamour? You will just disgrace yourself. Respect yourself. Just stay. The things you understand, just stay there. Don't go and disgrace yourself now. Okay, so I had to start thinking again. But the other bigger problem was that the industry had lost great hands. A lot of the great hands who had integrity couldn't afford to stay in the media because they won't get their salary.
Yeah.
So they had to do other things. So the loss of the media was the gain of financial analyst companies, the gain of big corporates who now got some great hands doing their corporate communication.
Yeah.
The gain of big multinationals and multilaterals. The media had lost and still continues to lose some exceptional hands who are brilliant. Because the truth is, no matter how much you love those hands, you cannot pay. How am I going to compete with a financial derivatives for a good analyst? I can't pay.
You can't.
Because how much is my media product? And that analyst is what I need in my space. I can't compete.
Well, are you going to rejig this? Are you going to rejig it? Because I believe that space is getting more democratized. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but what we're doing then, what Business I then is doing, like I said, we took a break. We're not leaving the space. We can't leave the space. Like I said, this is my passion fruit. But I'm sensible enough to rethink it and to replan.
Okay.
And that's part of what gave birth to conversations with Ibim.
I could tell there was an underlying strategy there. I can tell.
Is that getting back into the space to do the things? Because the truth is, like Bismarck Romane said to me, he said, there's still nobody in your space today.
It's waiting for you, girl.
It's still naked.
It's waiting for you.
So we know that, and we're going to reclaim our space. We're just in the process of
Okay. Well, we're almost at the end, and listen, what am I going to do with all these questions I have for you? What am I going to do with them? But my goodness, this has been so interesting, and but I'm going to do two, and I hope the network would hold. I'm going to ask you two questions specifically.
Mm-hmm.
In the MSME space, many of the players are women, and I'm asking myself, why? Do we want to deliberately play small? Are we playing small because we are scared of our husbands saying, hey, or our family saying, hey, nobody's going to marry you, or who's going to cook my pounded, who's going to pound my yam? Okay, guys, all due respect, but these are real life issues that women face.
Mhm.
Why are we generally afraid to dream these big audacious dreams that are world changers and earth shakers? Why? Ibim, like you and I get together and we are planning to change the world. We are not planning to play small. You know that. You know, and people would say, "Oh, okay, her father gave her a leg up," but my father, like your father, never wrote a letter to anybody. My sister is here.
Mhm.
He never wrote a letter. I said, if you fail, you fail. I did my youth service in Ilorin,
Mhm.
in Kwara State. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, hello, Ilorin. It wasn't very funny, but I did it, and he didn't want to hear. My sister went to Medjugorje, and that was at the time of my Tasine.
Mhm.
And she said there were dead people on the bodies on the road, and my father drove her all the way to Medjugorje and left his firstborn child. So that great, it's there. But why do we play small? I know there's some women on this chat today who their dreams are not big, but many others say, I just want to do this little thing. I hate hearing this little thing. I mean, because that little thing brings little money. We have men like Uche Oti here who has been cheering you since, and Uche is not playing small. He's not playing small. And when I say big, I'm talking like billions, billions, girl.
So
That is what we need. Go ahead,
So it's
please.
several reasons. And I know people don't want us to knock patriarchy, but that's where I'm going to start from. It's knocking patriarchy. So let me give you a bit of my own story. I'm ready to start a magazine business. I am the expert in the field. I did my business plan myself. I walk into who is a possible investor and I say to him, listen, I'd like to have this conversation with you. I want to make a pitch and invite you to be shareholder. He says to me, let's have lunch and bring Henry along. I say,
For
excuse me.
what?
Number one, Henry doesn't know jack about media. I say, number two, Henry didn't write this business plan. I did. Number three, Henry is not running this business. I am.
I am.
So you will be talking to me. Reason is, I am going to be responsible 500% for the failure or success. Why are you dragging Henry into this conversation?
As husband concerned.
And I lost that investment.
Okay.
Now, here's the problem. I say, if you're a single girl, trouble. If you're a married woman, trouble.
Big
Head
trouble.
or tail, you lose. Because if you're a single girl, and this is the story from single girls a lot, who has any integrity, you walk in with a beautiful business plan, dressed corporate. A gentleman raises his head, has a layer on his face, smiles at you like it is an offense for you to look good, and says, let's have this discussion over
lunch.
Why? A young man walks in with the same proposal, sits across the table from this same person. He says, oh, yeah, gentlemen, oh, that's very audacious. Wow, I'm proud of you, young man. You're thinking. Why is that not the same thing you say to the girl who has done the exact same work?
Thing.
You don't look at, she's here with the paper in front of you. You don't take a look at it. You just look at her and start telling her about lunch. She doesn't want to be insulted, so she says, I'm sorry, can I pass on lunch? Would you like to look at my paper? Okay, you can leave it there. I will get to it when I have time. But for the young man, you consider it, wow, what a brilliant, I like young men who are brilliant. There are young girls who are brilliant. And this is why I say, for those of us who walk this path, Julia, we owe a debt to the next generation. Now, there's some girls that are crazy that you invest in and you regret it. But I'm not going to go there. There are quite a few others who you
there
give
are also
a shoulder.
Some young guys who are crazy
yeah,
too.
so this pendulum swings both ways. But that's one scenario. You're a married woman, you walk into the space and the guy is like, he's thinking in his head, me, I won't let my wife do it. Why? Yeah, madam, but you don't need money now. God, why are you just worrying yourself? Your guy is there. Why, madam? Yeah, look after our children for us and beg. So you see, heads or tail, you're holding this losing thread. And that's why we need more women in the board. We need more women sitting as the head of credit in banks.
We need more women with money, so we can be the door openers.
We need more women who are angel investors.
Thank you, girl. That is it. We need to have. That's why I said we need to make billions. Millions won't cut it.
We need to create a band of women who are going to hold each other and say, listen. And that's why I got excited with the Renews Rapper theory.
Yeah.
We need to begin to create a movement of women whose job is to hold rapper for other women.
Absolutely.
Because for us to become, we need to create, and this is not, people say, oh, you have come with feminist talk. Yeah, hey, I don't even apologize. Am I a male? Why should I apologize for wanting to stand for the rights of women? Because the truth is,
human rights.
No man is diminished because his wife made money. No man is diminished by it. No father is diminished because his daughter became successful. Even with this petty business that we are doing, by the way, we are still the carriers of the beast of body, the hewers of wood and the fetchers
of water. Yeah.
Because you will see a woman with her petty business. Hey, I went to see Papa the other day. The roof is leaking. So I got somebody to have some zinc, some bundles of zinc, and I did the house. Hey, I went to see Mama the other day. Then the window in her room. So I got a carpenter to fix it. Hey, I went home. The mud has this. So I told some boys in the village, I gave them small money. Then Papa passes on. When Papa passes on, the first son, come and let us discuss. We are discussing women. Where is the son? Where is the chief mourner? The first son of the man. Even if that first son is a 16-year-old rat. Or if he's a 55-year-old man who doesn't know when the windows were fixed or the sink was done. Please, where is your brother? Is your brother not around? So we've got to begin to get society to rethink this narrative. Because even as women, we get into decision making and we kind of, we kind of legitimize it. Today I was getting really pissed off that a newspaper like Punch can put on its headline, Rivers woman is there on those State. What madness? A woman who's been married for over 30 years?
But we've dealt with that in Cross River State, where
it was madness.
Yeah, I don't want to get over it because I was really, really upset about that. That in Cross River State, somebody, just because, her father had lived and worked in Southeastern State, which became Cross River State, all his life. All his life. Her mother is she's passed on now, from Cross River State. She lived in Cross River State, went to school, served in the judiciary, and she cannot be chief judge because all of a sudden, her father is from Akwa Ibom State. I do not understand. But girl, we're going to leave that because
this whole indigenship story needs to stop. Because if somebody has lived in any part of this country, anybody, male, female, whatever, has lived in any part of Nigeria, the person must legitimately have a right in that part of Nigeria.
Listen, I was born in Lagos. There's no reason, but Lagos State is pretty progressive in that way. But I'm married to a Calabari man. I am Calabari. So I find it offensive when people ask me your original state of origin. I said, what does that mean?
Original.
What does that mean? Local government. What does that mean? But before we go on that tangent, I just want to ask you. Because we have to round up. And I want to thank everybody who stayed on today, and people want you to come back for more. She's a very hard woman to get. She's not slippery, she's just hard to get. But people have made she's busy. She's busy, so she's hard. She's hard to get. People have made a lot of comments about women needing to support women. Yes, and I believe women also need to agree to be mentored, because mentoring is hard. My first mentor was a guy, and it was hard on me. My coach right now is a woman who, interestingly, is younger than me, and she's hard on me. And I have peer coaches who are tough. They ask me hard questions. You want to do that? Why? You understand? Okay, you're doing Unplugged, Julia. What do you want? What is the end? What do you want to do with it? I don't go off and sulk. But when I ask people those kind of questions, they kind of generally ask me. Maybe I need to be asked them with a smile on my face, like, why are you doing this kind of silly thing? I don't know. That's not what I can do. But tell me, what is your superpower as Ibim?
Superpower, honestly, I don't even have to think about it. And I try hard not to sound this way, but really that's where my the Bible says our hope is in the name of the Lord who has made the heavens and the earth. That's the one statement I'm going to make. Because sometimes things really get to a head. I want to scream, I want to shout. And if you're a woman who has had the toga, strong woman, you know exactly how that feels.
I know.
At those times, I just go back to the source. The one person who I can tell it to without mincing words. When I talk to my father, and this is perhaps, and I thank my earthly dad for making fatherhood seem so easy, because it made me able to have the same kind of relationship with God.
Absolutely.
So I really just go and I say, look, God, you see, this is breaking me. I can't take it anymore. And I spent time in that space, unknown to anyone. I cry if I must. I yell if I must. I pull my hair if I must. I do all of that within that space. And then I come out smiling again. And I love my music, because when I'm really stressed, I just then play music. And I worship.
See why you're my sister?
That's it. I don't have any secrets outside. That's it. That's how I survive day to day. Because, truth be told, it's difficult surviving in this crazy world.
It is.
That's how I survive.
I'm going to thank you. Many people have thanked you on this platform, and they've asked you for part 2. And I hope we'll get to talk again. We're going to have a Superwoman series. And I hope we'll get to talk again. And the Superwoman is the everyday woman. I tell you, part of the Superwoman is the woman I know who is down my street, who fries akara, come rain, come shine. And she puts a polythene sheet over her head, and she's frying that akara. She's a Superwoman. I stop and talk to her. She's important. I see her. I want to talk to her. I want to know what's going on. So we're going to talk about super women, and we're going to see what we can do, so we can get those funds, so we can get those major funds that we can help use to open the door for other women. And thank you very much for starting off our July Business Toolbox Edition.
Thank you,
really enjoyed. I couldn't have thought about anybody else who opened that door for us. Thank you so much, Ibim. And thank you everybody for coming in. This has been our biggest viewership so far live, but we have so many more people who join us offline afterwards. So thank you very much. I'm hugging you, sis. Thank you. That's a virtual hug, like Wakanda,
Thank you.
Thank you, sis. Love you. Thank you.
Thank
And to
you, everyone.
everybody,
Thank you.
love you. Thank you, everybody. See you next week. And she's gone upside down again. And we'll come with another edition of the Business Toolbox with Unplugged with Julie. Thank you. Take care. Bye.